Okay, dramatic intro, I know, but trust me, it's warranted because I am overworked, okay? I am extremely overworked. Between the normal charity business, anything from handling the bureaucratic issues through organizing everything, through the fact that Stripe has completely screwed us over and I had to scramble the past couple of days to find a replacement, through the fact that I am still working on videos, that's still my thing after all, through the fact that I need to constantly vet people, through the fact that I'm writing 3 different scientific documents about how science should be conducted and a scientific paper about mathematics, between the fact that I'm making my own operating system, between all of those things, I have found some time to work on the website. Okay, so here's the thing. Basically 2 days ago, it was a random evening, and me, Ido and Caper just joined a voice chat together. It wasn't anything planned, it was just random, but my goodness have we balled. It was just a random voice chat, random voice chat that we just joined in for fun. And in the span of like 2 hours, the library went from this to this, which is quite an upgrade. And that got me a fair bit motivated to work on the website myself. And let's just say I have worked on the website myself. All right, so I have done some things, okay? I did some off-camera work. Let me fill you in. First of all, most importantly, help page. I have finally made a help page. It's there. Basic idea is simple as it could be. When you're on the website, in the top right corner, you have a question mark. And whenever you are uncertain about anything, you can click that question mark and it will take you to the dedicated documentation of that system of the website. If you're in the library, you click it, it takes you to the library. If you're in the phone book, it takes you nowhere because phone book hasn't been documented yet. But yeah, there are a whole bunch of things there. There is things like, there's the library, the reputation, the slices, which are the next things we'll get into. Now it's time for the second system, which is slices. It could be a bit controversial, but hear me out. Basically, when it comes to the library or anything on the website, it is free. And when I say free, I mean completely free. You don't need a scientific degree, you don't need money, you can just use it. You can post your resources there, you can verify folders, you can do all the stuff like that. This, however, carries a risk. You see, we don't exactly have a budget. So far, basically all of the money that the foundation has was the founders fund that I paid into it when I started it. And as such, we don't really have the computational capacity to handle attacks. That is, if everyone has access to the library, then all it takes is effectively like a 6-year-old with requests library on Python to mess it up and fill it in with garbage resources, just empty resources, PDFs, 5,000 words with banana written on it. And so normally that isn't that much of an issue because websites handle it in 2 ways. Either option A, when you're the size of Google, you can just let them, right? Like on YouTube, there is no restriction, you can just post stuff. And Google is fine with that because they are massive, they have the resources for that. We don't. Option B is restricted. The most classical way is with API tokens, which are normally purchased. So, people pay money, they get access to an API in return. I don't like that because as much as I get the reasoning there, you pay more because you use more computational resources, it kind of defeats the point of the charity thing, doesn't it? So instead, allow me to introduce to you slices. Slices work in a very much similar way. That is, you get a certain amount of them every week, and based on that, you can do things on the website. However, you don't purchase them. Instead, you get them based on your own qualifications. The higher your qualifications are, the more you get. And at the same time, the higher your reputation is, the more you get. We'll get to that in a second. That's the idea. And so far, when it comes to the prices, things that you need to pay for, there are 2 that are especially noteworthy. That is, first of all, creation of a resource, which costs 100, and inviting a new person in with aspiring, that costs 50. And there is a very specific reason for those values. That's because if you just created an account, there is a kind of barrier on the website that is aspiring. Aspiring is the first qualification. It can be given out by literally anyone, and the purpose it serves to separate bots from people. So everyone without an aspiring is considered a potential bot. In order to get an aspiring, you need to actually talk with a human being. So we use that as a separation against like malicious large-scale attacks. Because even if someone is able to trick some people into giving them aspiring, they won't be able to do it large scale, which is why it works. Which means that aspiring is kind of where the usage of the website begins. And when you have aspiring, you get 100 slices a week. That's what you get. Now with those 100 slices, what you can do is you can actually upload a resource to the library. And once you upload the resource to the library, you can then use that resource to prove your skill set, your abilities, and get verified. Isn't that nice? So let's say you have a bachelor's in quantum mechanics, classic. In that scenario, what you could do is you could write some kind of paper about quantum mechanics, sign up on the website, upload that paper, and then ask someone else, look, I've got skills, this is the paper I've written, it serves as proof that I have skills, could I get a higher qualification? And once you get a higher qualification, you get more slices, you can use the website without restriction, no problem. But then there's another issue, which is what if a malicious attacker already gets an account on the website and then they make 5,000 bots and they give all of them aspiring? Well, in order to limit that, giving out aspiring also costs. Simple as it could be. I'm not really worried about anything higher than aspiring that much, because if someone well, at the end of the day, you need an account to do it. And if your account gets banned, it's not that simple to get back to that level. If you have an account with like adept level in classical mechanics, if that account gets banned, you would need to work your way up back in there together, which is a lot more of a challenge. The point is, it isn't an impenetrable barrier against attackers, but it is a pretty damn near impenetrable barrier against large-scale attackers, which is what I'm trying to avoid. My goodness, that was long-winded, but, well, it's a very thought-out decision, so that's the idea. Which brings us to the other one, the third system I've set up, which is reputation. And reputation is exactly what it sounds like. As you do more things on the website, you gain reputation. There are 10 levels, they are really pretty, I am really pleased with my design on them, and that's the idea. You start with a reputation of 5, dead in the middle. If you do things which, if you use the website the way it's meant to, as in invite more people in, upload resources, verify resources, have your resources verified, or verify other people, then it goes up. In fact, I already have a reputation of 7 just from my past actions on the website. It's doable. If you, however, use website in a way that's not meant to be, so if you, for example, spam the library or invite people in without verifying them first, like without actually vetting them, invite a couple of trolls, or blindly verify resources without reading them, etc., 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 it falls down. And as it falls down, you slowly lose access to the website because you lose the slices. You get less of them. I made this really neat calculator to show it off. And eventually, if it gets too low, we might ban you, because the thing is, I wouldn't consider myself a mathematician, but I am certainly skilled at mathematics. So I did set it up in a way where it's not that easy to reach the limits. Getting a reputation of 10 is borderline impossible. Same is with a 0. So if you have a reputation of like 2 or 1, that means you really had to fuck up badly to get there. So at that point, you might possibly get banned. We won't do it automatically, but that will be like a red flag. Anyway, what now? As I mentioned, I am overworked, and I mean it. I spent the entire day and night working. Right now it's like 3 in the morning, and that means I've been working for around 12 hours non-stop. I woke up at 3 p.m. Doesn't matter, long story. I am a fair bit overworked. And if you don't mind, this is the time where I would like to ask you for your help. And that help can come in 3 ways if you're interested. If you're not, you can just click off this video. The first one, the simplest one and easiest, be a member of the community. Try to sign up on the website. Try to get qualified on the website. Bring more people in. Do things like that. Right now, the website is ready. There are way more features we want to add in, but on its own, it's ready. It works. The library has worked for a while. Now we have the help pages. We have the whole system set up around it. It really, truly works. The only thing we're missing is peers. And the more peers we get, the better it will be. So if you can only bring more people in, that would be extremely helpful. The second way, if you'd like to help the charity, a bit more annoying, a bit more difficult, is financially. As I mentioned, so far, basically the only money that the charity has is from the Founders Fund. And I am the founder. And if you know anything about my finances, if you know about the fact that I have been earning basically below Polish minimum wage for the past 3 years, you know it's not a lot of money. So if you'd like to help us, that we could increase the servers to make it even more accessible, or maybe hire Edu or Caper or Remco, then that would be appreciated, because, well, that would lead to basically a lot more upgrades, updates, and scientific resources, which would be very nice. And then the third one, the most difficult, most useful, but you need to be certain. That is, you can just join the charity. You can join in, sign up as a volunteer. Now, with this one, I will say, you don't need any particular abilities. You don't need any particular skills. There are only two things I would ask. First of all, that you are not childish. I don't tolerate childishness well. I don't, it's just, it bothers me. And I think that childishness is a very self-destructive trait. The second requirement I have is for you to be certain that you actually want to join in. Because it has happened time and time again. People basically get really hyped. They mention to me how they really want to join the charity, really want to help, only to get bored after 2 or 3 days. And I don't want to sound picky here, but I really am overworked. I really am. And having to like snap away from my work to bring someone new in to, you know, teach them computer science, teach them Blender, teach them physics, teach them stuff like that, only for them to get bored after 2 or 3 days is, at a certain point, it's taking a toll. There have been dozens of people, possibly it might be 3 digits, who wanted to join in the charity. But officially, we only have 7 volunteers right now. So do make sure that you really actually want to help, okay? If you don't want to commit fully, that's fine. You don't have to be a volunteer. You can just be a member of the community. You can bring more people in. That would be help enough. Okay, great. I need to go now, as I mentioned. The operating system, by the way, that wasn't a joke. I'm really am working on that. I'm having a lot of fun with that project, if not for the fact that I'm so goddamn busy I can't get back into it. I really hope that it's gonna be like a month or two, and then I'll finally be in a position where I'll be able to actually work on some fun stuff. But in the meantime, I need to get back to work.